are paying attention in the audience yet, we are live. Welcome to another episode of Pleb Broadcasting Service. I swear to God, I'm going to start slapping some people around if they don't here shortly. Simon, our host, Topher, would like a scotch. Can you please deliver him a delicious glass?
Can I get a double on the double?
Bourbon liquor. Tristan with the plastic cup. What a way to drink bourbon. Plastic cup bourbon. I don't care. I'm not drinking. Why are you? Ladies and gentlemen, this is PBS. Ridiculous show in Bitcoin.
I love it. It's that raw energy.
It is that raw energy. Thanks, Simon.
Yeah.
You're a wonderful human being.
That big Bitcoin energy.
You're very welcome. It's easy to give compliments when it's the truth.
Let's go, man.
Let's fucking go. How's your
drink bourbon?
I'm not gonna drink bourbon. But we the people.
We the people will drink bourbon. You're gonna drink water. That's cool, man.
Yeah, no bourbon for me.
No.
So, are we supposed to have a chat room?
I'm not sure the answer to that question, to be honest.
Want more? You just call my name.
We have a lot of audience members
We
today.
do.
This crowd keeps getting
Like
bigger.
them all.
What do we got?
Like them
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, plus the 2 hosts. That puts us at 16 people for literally double our largest audience member crowd thus far. Hey, you know it's weird? What's weird? I don't know how this audio. I don't know. Yeah, so everything. Yeah, keep Austin weird. I feel super out of place without Carr sitting here co-hosting because there's like particular roles that he does as well that I don't do well.
Oh, okay.
Do you, Tristan? I would like you to stop interrupting me while I do my show.
Being prepared with things to talk about?
Like announcing our sponsors.
Oh, okay.
Do you
Let's see if I can do this from memory.
sponsor? Yeah, let's see if you can do it from memory.
So, shout out to Voltage,
Voltage,
which is hosting
Voltage. You guys are
one of
awesome.
my projects.
They're hosting a lot of projects because we had I think we had 4 projects built on Voltage during the Bitcoin Plus hackathon.
Yeah, we actually talked about this yesterday. So there are like 4 different projects.
Was that it? Devs?
No, that was that other podcast we did with Beloy.
Oh shit! Yeah, we've been busy, Topher. I feel like they talked about it a bit. Devs too is what somebody told me.
Yeah, they did the victory lap.
Nice.
For all the people that won. Yeah, that was great. It was great to see it. No, like
Voltage.
everybody won in that.
Buy them, use them, explore and build things with them.
Yeah. So I guess I also want to give a shout out to one of the
What they do
winners.
probably better than me.
So they basically help you host a Lightning node, and then you don't have to do anything. You just click a couple buttons, pay a little bit of sats, and you have your own Lightning node.
That's right, folks. Voltage, non-self hosts, cloud-hosted node software, liquidity, all kinds of cool things. Build your projects on Voltage. Thank you, Voltage. All right, cool. So that wraps up our sponsor segment. Let's talk about Bitcoin Plus.
Yeah. So I actually put that in the what you would call the show notes, I guess. I'd like to talk about the recap for Bitcoin Plus and the recap of BitDevs, which also recapped Bitcoin Plus.
Great. How many of the audience members were at or let's start with, I think I know the number already, but like how many of you were at Bitcoin Plus? Okay. How many of you knew about Bitcoin Plus? A couple more. Okay, cool.
How many of you were at the BitDevs last night?
There's always something going on in Bitcoin in Austin. This is fucking great.
And how many people are here for the first time? Wow. That's like over half the audience.
Here in Austin for the first time? Awesome. Where are you guys all coming from? Hong Kong. Holy shit. UK. Argentina.
Feel free to pick up that audience.
Armenia. You're the second person I met from Armenia today. What up, dude? It's about time you show up to PBS. You worked in this building for the entirety of the time that we've been doing this show. You haven't been here for, have you?
Never. I've seen you guys in here, but
Just been too cool to come. Yeah. He's busy building companies and shit. It's cool. Hey man, thanks for showing up. This is the most ridiculous show. Grab some tacos. There's some bourbon. Hey, yeah, beer and then bourbon and then beer. I don't remember which one makes you sicker and which one makes you slicker, but enjoy.
There's a lot of great people building in this town.
fucking love Austin, and I love the Plebs, and I love the Builders. Dude, we talked about you on the show we did with Goalie the other day.
Yeah, we did.
Did you see it, or did you just hear it?
I don't know the name of the podcast.
Yeah, it's
Shout
I
out
think
to
it was
Constantine over here in the audience.
Adopting Bitcoin podcast. Yeah, we were talking about. I personally thought it was really cool that like you and somebody else did like a non-technical project at the hackathon.
Yeah, so at first it was extremely intimidating because, as many people may or may not know, there's extremely talented pool of devs from Bitcoin Plus then going on to the hackathon. As a non-technical pleb, I showed up to the hackathon just to check it out, see maybe I could join a team or whatever. But honestly, as I went around to different teams, they kind of had their shit pretty well together. So, you know, I was in there for a while and just hanging out, and I came up with a pleb idea. So I decided to just run with it. And, you know, pretty simple thing, but had a good reception, and I was just happy to be on stage with some straight killers. So had an amazing time. You know?
Yeah, it was really cool. I think like we've been talking about for a while now internally that like part of what needs to happen in this space is education, and at least I have been thinking about it from like a less technical perspective, because like you, I don't come from a technical background. I'm a Luddite. I like type my emails with two fingers and like stare at this keyboard while I do it, and like I hate computers. I like work on the bleeding edge of the bleeding edge, but I don't know how to use computers, and I sometimes want to just like throw them out the window. So I think
That's why I'm here.
it's true. Like this show wouldn't be happening if you weren't here right now. So thank you. But yeah, it was really cool to see, because we've been talking about it for so long now, and it was nice to see it kind of actually starting to take hold, where it's like we're doing a hackathon, and this is like typically representative of something for these very technical folks, but we put out there beforehand, like, hey, whatever your skill set is, like build something, like put it together and just put it out there. And like you have like a creative background and a marketing background, and you were like able to put something together that was like Bitcoin related. And I thought that was really cool, because like that's all I've done. Like I showed up to Bitcoin with no technical knowledge, no like technical skill sets. I just used the skill sets I have, and I like found a way to incorporate those skill sets into Bitcoin. And I thought it was cool to see a couple of people do that at hackathon. So
yeah, I mean, since I arrived in town, like what, 3-4 weeks ago, like you just been saying, just show up. And when it came even to this conference, like I didn't even know if I should get a ticket. We were even talking on the Shiner's rooftop about this, and you're like, just go, it's gonna be awesome, just come. So I got a ticket, I just showed up, and you know, I found a way to contribute, and that's what it's all about.
Shouts out to Jay as well. He was the other non-technical person, and he was actually kind of helping us out with our project at first with some design stuff, and just kind of decided to do his own thing. We were like, okay, but he went and kind of checked all of these various projects and how they verify the signatures from the maintainers, and was just showing the inconsistency in the UX and how it's confusing for someone who's new. And so like that was really valuable, just like out of nowhere. So it's cool to see projects like that.
It was good fun. And I honestly, my favorite part about Bitcoin Plus was that being the third event we've done now, and with like more experience and more like plebs showing up to help kind of support and put things together. This is the first big event we did where I didn't end up sick when it was all over.
Really?
Yeah, my immune system made it all the way through and didn't like crash at the end of it.
There was no COVID at Bitcoin Plus.
I think there was COVID at Bitcoin Plus, but I didn't personally get sick, which was great.
We have that orange pill energy. That's what
Dude,
it is.
Block party fucked me up. Block party fucked me up. It was like a week leading up to that block party where no sleep, high stress, like literally a handful of times where I wanted to like strangle my co-founder. And this was like literally leading up to like 4 hours before the event. And then we realized there was a critical flaw with our flyers that were already at print at FedEx. Like,
Oh yeah, I remember you telling the story.
Yeah. So I rode into like the event with like this super crazy adrenaline rush that like fucking woke me up, made me less angry, just like flight mode, just like go get shit done. Run down the street with the flag. Like boy, when it was over, I was fucked up. Like when my immune system, my body got to sleep, my immune system got to sleep too. And then what was the second one? Stats by Southwest. I think Stats by Southwest just fucked me up because it was like 48 hours of being awake, eating a ton of shitty foods. And this time we did less shitty foods. We like had burritos and like fried chicken versus like pizza, donuts, street vendor hot dogs.
The food was on point at BTC plus plus. I have to say,
Yeah,
food was definitely on point. I mean, in the morning we had like, all the sugar you could ask for, all the really cool danishes. At BTC plus plus. Yeah, we had, like, a Danish
On the conference side of things, they had the breakfast.
Yeah, that Danish spread was greatly appreciated.
I didn't eat any of them. I tried to be good this time around. I just drank the coffee.
What about the barbecue?
I ate the barbecue.
Yeah. So
Meat is good for you folks.
for those that weren't at,
don't eat your meat. Eat meat. That didn't sound much better.
yeah, eat meat, beat meat.
Hashtag beef.
Yeah, hashtag beef initiative. We should also be a sponsor of the show.
If you're listening, Slim, feel free.
Yeah, so we got catered by Stubbs Barbecue across the street, which was amazing.
I do have to agree that the entirety of the event had really great food. There was a speaker dinner that happened before the event kicked off. That happened in some place across town. I can't remember the name of, but it had delicious melted cheese that like went on these little pieces of toasty bread, and it was quite delicious. And then barbecue. You enjoyed the Danish spread. I am a huge fan of Gus's fried chicken, so anytime I get to bring Gus's to a new crowd of people.
Oh, that was
burritos.
Friday night?
The burritos were a little disappointing, though. I don't know if I would do Freebird World burritos again.
when was the burrito?
It was both days for the hackathon for lunch.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was like make your own burrito.
Yeah, well, it was like I don't really like half of my burrito being rice. That's not just I don't. Yeah, rice is a cool side dish. Don't shove that shit in the burrito, man. That's just filler. It's like what the fuck.
You gotta go to Chipotle, bro.
Fiat is hell, dude.
You know
Yeah,
how to balance that stuff out. It's all about balance at Chipotle.
yeah. I mean, listen, I used to love Chipotle. I don't know why I stopped liking Chipotle as much as I used to.
They accept the
That's
crypto now.
probably why. Oh, they accept crypto?
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, you have to download some app in order to use it.
Like
Yeah.
the Chipotle token.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of gave up on the whole thing, and then I just went to a Bitcoin company and just bought a Chipotle card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easiest thing in the world.
Sats back on the Bitcoin company. Buy
Sats
yourself a
back.
burrito and get some sats back. Folks, it is easier than ever to live on a Bitcoin standard. You literally don't need fiat anymore, and it is like getting close to being like global. The Bitcoin company seems to be doing, from what I hear, Ben Carmen and Ben Price tweeting about. It's like their Visa gift cards are like accepted like globally. They're like making integrations, like making connections with different banking cartels in like India and Brazil. It's like it's gonna be good, man. I think I'm actually bullish on the bear market.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, because like bear markets are where like disciplined heads down builders really build the best shit. Where it's like there's no noise. It's like all signal. Everybody has to be really disciplined because like the money's not just like flowing around like madness anymore.
Oh yeah, I have a whole thesis on that.
Yeah,
but I want to get back to just one thing that you mentioned, which was like your past experiences with other conventions.
Sure.
What was like behind the scenes in BTC++? Like what was like the crazy stuff going on behind the scenes where like people were like hair on fire running around? Because you don't really see that. It looked like well put together.
That was the biggest disaster.
Was it?
What was the biggest disaster?
Smash Brothers broke.
Oh yeah, yeah, that whole thing. Well, that wasn't even Ben's fault. Yeah, so shout out to Ben Carmen, who was going to do DLCs with Smash Bros. So you can have like a discrete log contract, and it would basically be able to predetermine like two people can enter into a contract where you'd have to trust an oracle, but that oracle would basically decide, like, sign who the winner is. So you would have to pay out either way. And so they were going to do something really cool with it for a Smash Brothers tournament where he like built it into the game too. It was like really cool what he did. But at the end of the day, the oracle they were using like just crapped out on him.
How does it feel to be producing this show and also simultaneously being a host? You're like one
Yeah, I have to.
literally like one finger on the button and like another like half of your brain is like having a conversation? Is it distracting at all?
It's absolutely distracting, and I love it. I love being like put in the hot seat. It's great.
To answer your
That's
question,
where I
man, I don't know that that's what I'm saying. Like I think that's why I didn't get sick this time. Is like there actually were very few moments that felt like hair on fire. Like so like collabing with Base 58, like Lisa and Stack are like they're highly organized people.
Shout out to Base 58.
Like a handful of like learning each other's communication styles in like the very early weeks of like putting the whole thing together. There was like some back and forth. There was like a challenge we ran into with like kind of having like sponsors that were like on one side and then we're like supposed to be on the other side as well, and like how we kind of worked through some of that. But realistically, like nothing like major. It was just like a couple of like small communications misfires. Like we kind of just resolved them pretty quickly, and the whole thing felt pretty smooth. I mean,
That's surprising.
it was. I thought it went really well. I like have no complaints about the whole process.
Simon.
Shit, that's a PBS, okay? Folks, we've got a handle of bourbon.
Simon is back.
The plebs are getting drunk, and I'm getting hand-delivered bubbly water. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, this is. I'm sorry that I'm drinking right in front of you, but
You're good, man. I'm dry, and I don't miss it.
Where in the world is Carmen Gonzalez?
Carmen Sandiego is in Mexico.
We miss him.
We do miss Car Gonzalez. Car, if you're out there, fuck you.
I hope he's watching, and I hope he's giving me pointers on the audio.
Another one, Car.
I hope Car's watching, and I hope he's giving me pointers on the audio here, because like I have no idea how this sounds on the other end.
That's good. That's probably a good thing.
We're doing it live, folks. Doing it
Thank
live.
God, everybody who's actually watching is sitting right here. The audio probably sounds fine.
Yeah.
I have one Twitch viewer, and it's my girlfriend, so I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
Babe, let us know. How's the
I
audio?
actually watched maybe like last time you did this. I don't know. Do you do it every week?
We do it every Friday, yeah.
I think I watched it last week.
Nice.
The audio was tough.
Audio was tough. Right on.
The good news is they probably didn't hear what you just said, so.
Oh, I'm glad it's not just entirely my fault. It's good to hear.
Logan, if you're listening, your audio quality sucked last week. You're fired.
Right on.
I'm kidding. You're not fired. Come back, please.
Yes, please don't retire in Mexico.
No, they're in Mexico, man. So, like, things went well with Bitcoin Plus Plus, and they're now scouting out Bitcoin Plus Plus Spanish edition in Mexico City. So potentially some news coming. Nothing locked in yet, but we're exploring our options. Fucking go! Let's go! Simon and a couple other people yelling, "Let's fucking go!" Simon, you see what you've done, man? You've created a monster, man. Yeah,
Simon is made out of pure digital energy.
Simon's
like-
made out of pure LFG energy. It's LFG energy.
Do you have any more of that energy you can give me? Yeah, so I didn't know like what we could or couldn't talk about with Mexico. So I didn't know if that was like a secret project. or something.
Listen, I've told Carmen many times if something's supposed to be a secret, you probably shouldn't tell me about it. In Mexico?
All right, we got our
I'll take that bet. Yeah.
So we're betting on whether or not Carr finds a girl in Mexico.
Oh! $10. I don't want to do dollars. Let's do.
We're doing
10,000
sats.
sats. I don't know
What's
is
the
it
conversion rate?
10,000 sats. Who cares? 10,000 sats. You ready? All right.
All right, we're gonna shake on it right now.
10,000. All right. Hey, Carr, come back single.
Yeah, like so. What is the terms for being called a girlfriend? Because usually that's pretty.
It's a girl. I probably should have clarified the specifics before I shook your hand.
Yeah.
So you're saying like if Carr like physically says words in the direction of a woman, I lose, or like what's? Okay, all right. I get it. All right. So if Carr comes back and tells us a story about a girl he met in Mexico, I lose. Fair enough.
Simon wants to have a bet.
You want in on that bet too?
Had a discussion. Like, what if he's just renting a car? Does that count?
Look, I already took the bet, so I'll take it again. 10,000 more sats.
Yeah.
Says we're not
So shout out to our sponsors of Voltage who are sponsoring all of these handshakes.
Thank you,
all these
Voltage, for
deals.
sponsoring Handshake. I'm just kidding. That's not their role.
So BTC went without a hitch. That's crazy. Do you feel like this is because of like all the other events that came before it? Like everybody's sort of learned how to put on a smooth event?
Have a comment. We have a lot of international visitors, so please tell us what is B++. They already everybody in the room when you weren't here said they had heard about it and or were here. So I think most of them. I'll shut the fuck up. We love you, Simon.
We love you, Simon.
I love
And so Simon's Simon's demand was that we tell the audience about what BTC++ is.
Yeah, I'll do it anyways. BTC++ was it was a conference in collaboration with Pleb and Base 58. After we threw the Stats by Southwest hackathon, we were talking with our friend and Pleb Lab advisor Lisa Nygett of Blockstream and Base 58 about her idea to throw a conference, and we decided to team up and kind of do like a dual-sided conference. She has a background in like education, which we strongly believe in and like want to get more involved with, and like we love throwing hackathons because we believe that's super educational. So we threw together Bitcoin++, which was a 4-day event. It was 2 days of like workshops and education with a bunch of really smart people working for a lot of really cool Bitcoin companies, followed up by like you just spent 2 days learning cool shit and meeting cool people. Get together and build cool things, like practical application of the things you just learned about. So it was pretty good. It went pretty flawlessly. I would say a lot of that had to do with the fact that like one, we had done several events before, so we were like more like in our groove. We kind of knew how to market, who to get involved with, who to talk to. We had more people working on it, so there were just like physically more brains kind of working on it from day one. And then like our network of like interested and willing to like volunteer plebs also grew. So just like by the time we got to like the last stages of like now we actually have to put shit together, we had like a ton of people who turned out and like helped organize, helped put up like tables and banners and like, check people in. It was just honestly really good. It was cool because we heard like a handful of people. I heard one girl at the conference who literally said, she was like, I would have thought you guys had been doing this conference for years. It feels really established. And I was like, well, cool.
It was pretty nice. I have to admit, I felt wined and dined. Yeah, bravo to that. It was a great conference. There's a lot of really amazing speakers too. It was like
too many, man.
I love it. I love it.
I
Like we had
more of them because like they all got recorded.
They did.
Those coming out soon.
I hope so because like it would be cool.
This week. Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah. I was gonna say I think they're like launching all of them on like the Base 58 side of things, and then like the file share will happen, and we'll like put them up on our platforms as well, just to get it out there in as many places as possible.
Do you have a favorite in terms of like speakers?
Because
I have a list.
I'm sure you do. I actually. Man, I don't know. I think of all the ones that I caught, which honestly were probably less than you. I think probably the Fetty Mint stuff, the Xiaomi and stuff that Justin Moon did. Was
Everybody says Fetty Mint. He's the golden boy.
I mean, look, there's a reason that they won the hackathon. It's a really cool project with like a huge amount of potential that I think is like really, it's really early but really valuable work for the Bitcoin space at large. So,
yeah. I agree. Fetty Mint is still very interesting. I learned actually a lot more about how it works while I was there at C++. So I was thankful for that. So it was less mysterious to me after seeing him talk about it at the conference. But I also liked Dustin, like his proposal on splicing. Yeah, that was amazing.
So he's been talking about splicing since the day I met him. Literally every time I see him, I'm like, "What you working on? Channel splicing? What you working on? Channel splicing?" I stopped asking after a while. I was just like, "How's the channel splicing going?" He's like, "Good." So I don't know how I'd gotten this far into knowing him without knowing more about what channel splicing is. But why don't you fill me in?
Okay. So channel
Who here knows
splicing.
what channel splicing is? Yeah, we got a couple of nerds.
Not a lot of people know what channel splicing is. All right. Well, channel splicing is essentially you are adding liquidity to your channel without closing it. So right now, if you want to increase your channel size, you have to close your existing channel and open a new channel, which is not good.
Pretty lame.
It's pretty lame. It really is.
So
And that's
like increase the size now, or that's essentially the idea of splicing. Is it like you don't have to close it? It's already opened. It's got 100,000 sats in liquidity. Now you want to make it 200,000. You just add 100,000 more.
See, it would be cool if it was just that, but he like went overboard and he did like way more than that.
Of course he did.
Of course he did,
Well,
because
he's
it's just
working on whatever it is for months at a minimum. So
Yeah.
I assume he probably did more than that.
So what he ended up doing in his pursuit for channel splicing is he kind of set up this protocol where you could renegotiate contracts on Lightning. So not only can you add liquidity to your channel, but you can like open channels. And not only can you open channels, but like other people who are like, hey, I want to open a channel too, or I want to add stuff, I want to add liquidity to my channel too. Like they can sort of request that you put that in your transaction, so that in the end you have this one transaction that represents all these people that want to change their contracts on the network. So yeah, exactly. But the idea is
You
that
lost me at channel splicing, dude.
yeah, well, I mean, it used to, like the way it is now is that like each time you want to, like once you negotiate a channel and you're opening a channel with so and so, and like this channel is of a certain size, of a certain balance, like that's a transaction on the blockchain, and then it's settled, and then that's that. And then if you want to renegotiate it, you have to close your existing channel, which is a transaction. Then you have to open a new channel, which is another transaction. And it's like only you, between you and that other person, you can do that. And so that's two transactions, and that's only between you and another person. So what he's trying to do is kind of like set up a whole protocol where it's like, hey, like I want to do all this stuff, and then all my friends want to do all this stuff, and we all want to do it in one transaction. So he's like trying to make it so that like you can like do all this like renegotiation of like different channels with different sizes and opening channels with new people or whatever, and just do it all in like, it's super ambitious, but it's really cool.
Yes, sir.
So with how he's doing it, can you renegotiate multiple of my own channels?
Yeah, he's making it so you can renegotiate multiple channels. That's kind of what he's gunning for. He's a very ambitious guy. Yeah. It's a good question. I don't see why not. Yeah, because you're just sort of like, no, well, I don't. I guess. I don't know. You can say that again.
You can merge channels as well. Like merge two channels together.
What do you mean merge two channels together?
I don't know. He was telling me about it though.
That goes over my head.
Yeah.
It's just Pleb Broadcasting Service.
Yeah, I got it.
What do you guys want?
Oh yeah, so like because I'm a stickler for preparing for things, I just like pulled up a bunch of stuff that we could talk about if we got bored with each other.
I'm bored with you.
Okay.
Hey, I have a topic.
Let's move on.
Who wants to talk? Come on, Tristan. Come on.
Tristan got called out, but he doesn't want to show up. What's going on?
Yeah. He's got a topic.
You got a topic?
Yes.
Yeah, look at that. You're gonna advertise my.
Oh,
You're gonna come up and advertise. You're gonna come up and advertise a club that's not mine anymore.
Yeah. So just to give a little preface. Holy shit, my mic is really hot. Oh, because I have it so close to me.
Hey, can we?
Get really into it.
Tristan, bring it. I'm not reading.
So Tristan is working on Bitcoin or Lightning escrow.
Bitcoin escrow.
Bitcoin escrow. I mean, it's technically with Bitcoin.
The audio strap. Tristan, this is why I suggested that you bring a chair because you need to be on this side.
Yeah.
I'll just go over here.
Are you a righty or a lefty?
And we're getting complicated.
He's ambidextrous, folks. So, ladies, if you're listening to this podcast,
How much is that?
Welcome to the show, Tristan Beach.
That's correct.
CEO, Mr. Big Shot himself pitching to Tim Draper yesterday.
Yeah, it was actually
Wow. Let's fucking
go. So, you asked about the story, right?
What story?
What story you want? Okay.
Tell us about your pitch to Tim Draper
First.
yesterday.
I want to
Yeah, I got
All right.
I'm scooting all the way up. He's all the way over. He can't scoot over any further.
All right. So, yesterday was the graduation of the Draper X program, and the big deal at the end of the program was you could pitch to Tim Draper himself as well as like 50 other VCs, right?
Nick Carter, Elise Galeen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's the other big name there?
Tim Draper.
Was that it?
There's like
Those are the three?
the guys from Gemini were there.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
what are they?
No, not them. What's that?
What are they hawking over there?
I have no idea. Anyway, so it was on Zoom, and in order to share your screen on Zoom, you have to have a Windows laptop or a Mac laptop to do so. And my Linux laptop cannot do that. So, you see the problem? So what I had to do is either find a Windows laptop or buy one. And I went to the Pleb office, and Carr had his old ass laptop there that did not work for shit. So I drove to Goodwill. I bought the, what is it, a ThinkPad T41? What it's called?
With the little red nipple.
Yeah, I have it with me actually. Yeah, I have it with me.
Wow.
It works. It works, but oh my god, it's a piece of shit. It's from like 2004.
You talked about my ThinkPad.
You know,
Not your ThinkPad, mine.
every time somebody has any type of issue anywhere on computer, it's always on the amazing operating system known as Linux. I swear to God, it's so good. It's so good that every time there's an issue, it's always Linux.
All right, fair point. Linux is for developers and Macs are for executives. That's a fair point. But the issue with my laptop is that it runs Waylands. What's that?
That hurts a little bit.
Why is that?
Because I use Linux.
Are you an executive?
No. Yeah, I'm an executive in my own domain, man.
Are you more so a developer or an executive?
I run my business.
That's a question, not a statement. Yeah.
I wear all hats.
All right.
Except for today, I'm not wearing a hat, but I
Anyway,
wear all hats.
back to the issue. It runs Waylands. I had to share my screen.
Any lights like
I got a laptop. Can you shut the fuck up now?
on my show. Get out of here. You're fired.
So I got a laptop, and the pitch went really well. I think I did the best out of all of them. Not to jerk myself off here, but I had a pretty good pitch. So that went well, and Tim Draper was actually the only one to compliment my pitch, saying that it was great. So yeah, that went really well. So hopefully,
Okay, can we have like a little, like a slice? Chain slice of the pitch? Like, can you...
Ooh, that's a good one coming from Simon in the audience.
Yeah,
Can
I
we
mean-
have like a sample, a morsel of your pitch to Tim Draper.
oh, because he's not in charge of business ever. He's not allowed. He's not allowed. He's a developer, and that's all he's going to be doing because reasons. But
Okay, so
Um,
can you give us a 2-minute like pitch?
I can do it in one.
Pitch to Tim Draper?
I can do 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay, so as of right now, the issue is that escrow is expensive and formal. The market leader right now is escrow.com. They charge a minimum fee of 3.25% on top of other fees that add up to anywhere from like 5 to 8%. That's ridiculous. So on top of that, they're custodial, which means that they actually take a hold of your money. Right? Shut up. So what we do is cheaper, faster, more affordable. More affordable is the same as cheaper. Anyway, so letting escrow is non-custodial. Use Bitcoin. You charge a 1% flat fee.
our processing time is 3 to 5 seconds compared to escrow.com, which is like 3 to 5 days if you're lucky. And yeah, we're spending every possible. So they have no chance.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a very shitty pitch. I had 2 bourbons, but whatever.
All right,
So yeah, just like
Woo, fight. Ding, 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 ding. Well, so what I was going to ask before that whole fight erupted was like, does Tim Draper look as disheveled in person? Yes, he does. Sure.
Do you think those are natural? Maybe you don't say it like that. Maybe you give it like a solid compliment, like, yo, Drapes, check it out, bro. I gotta tell you, bro, I'm loving what you're doing with the eyebrows. Send some cash my way. Drapes has got some fucking horned Drapes. What's you failed? You failed.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet recently that said anyone can be a VC. Nobody checks. Is that true?
Anyone can be a VC. Nobody checks. That's
Do you need a license to be a VC?
you have to be a licensed investor. Yeah, that's correct. An accredited investor to
By who?
that agency that accredits investors. I don't know. I've never. Yeah. Well, one of the two. So you have to have. So like there are ways around it. You can test out of needing to have those assets or that income. If you're like a student who's like gone to school to be like an investor type, so there's like testing that you can take to like test out of the need for those qualifications. But the average person, Tristan, I don't care. The average person, great. The average person, basically, the rule to be an accredited investor is over $200,000 a year in gross income or 1 million in assets, not including the home you live in.
This isn't like hard and fast. This is just what you have to put on the application.
So like it's obviously they're just like every institution in the government. There's like a ton of paperwork and bureaucracy, and you could probably get away with it for a while if you like want to push your luck. But like
That's literally like all of Wall Street. That's on
as somebody like trying to raise money, you're supposed to be pretty careful about like not breaking those rules. So
yeah, don't break any rules.
You're
I'm
like-
not advocating any rules, so that's my like legal disclaimer.
Yeah.
But I know on Robinhood, if you want to do options trading, they don't really check the paperwork. Honestly,
I did options trading on Robinhood. I mean, it's pretty good money there.
yeah, we're all accredited investors on Robinhood.
Yep. Everybody who works on Robinhood is an accredited investor. It's part of the opening of the Robinhood account is you're automatically qualified as an accredited investor. Yeah, you didn't know? You can buy stock in startups as long as you're a member of Robinhood. This is not financial advice. Yes, Simon.
You can just check boxes on those paperwork.
Yeah, that's what she is suggesting that this week basically meant.
Hey, super!
Super testing.
Hey, is it time for the super segment?
Yes.
Hey, super! Look at how big this audience is getting at PBS.
Walking in like 10 minutes.
Hey, that's what she said. That's what she said. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Welcome to the most ridiculous show in Bitcoin.
Cheers.
I have a suggestion.
Oh my goodness, Simon, tell me more.
Super upfront.
Yes.
You bring him up front.
To have the most ridiculous man with the most ridiculous head of hair.
Thank you. Bring your chair.
I guess I'm just gonna stand here.
No, you can sit down.
Oh, super, you are royalty, sir. You get it.
What? I did recently. I did a whole stand-up routine at the Lucky Duck.
Wait, you didn't invite? Did you, Bob?
I did. It was really bad.
No.
Not all of the world against the Bitcoin jokes, believe it or not, and they just didn't laugh. So, what? No. Well, same set. Yes, I did the same set at the Lucky Duck that I did there, but it didn't go over as well. So, no, they entered the game with zero knowledge and then left with no laughs, 0 laughs. So, yeah.
Well, that is the proof. 0 laughs. 0 laugh proof.
But you know what? I think that everyone who starts out in the world of open mics, except good people, they suck at first. So maybe there's a chance.
No, it's an honor.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think everybody sucks who does open mic. I don't think there's an exception even. Like even like some of the best that I've ever heard, like talk about how brutal open mic is when they're first getting started. Like some of the most like epic comedian legends like bombed off stage time and time again in the early days of their career.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I am attributing it to is that a lot of the members of the audience were also comedians, and were trying to get their starts, like analyzing the jokes and stuff, and that's what I attribute it to. Of course, they laugh for the other comedians, so there's that. Yeah,
I'm going to attribute it to the lack of Bitcoin knowledge in the audience. That's got to be it.
well, I never brought up Bitcoin actually, so that was another goal I failed.
Wait, you did your
The Bitcoin comedian who never mentions Bitcoin. Yeah, that was the.
I thought you just said that you did the same Bitcoin jokes that you did at Bitcoin Plus Plus.
I didn't do Bitcoin. I did dentist jokes, and I did jokes about autism. Well, that was during a I didn't do the autism joke either. So
Man, that's the one that would have landed.
What's the autism joke?
one of it was contextual. Yeah, you have to be autistic in order to be a good Bitcoin developer. Was part of the joke, but there was context. One of the difficulties that I kept forgetting my jokes, and that's not a good thing to do on stage. So I just stood there, kind of being like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. But yeah,
That's awesome.
great, wasn't it though?
It's great. No, it is great because like the comedy is a harsh process,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of people fail. You have to embrace the failure because some of the best comedians on stage are comedians that can embrace the failure, especially if they're really good, but they get a hostile audience anyways. Like Bill Burr. Like Bill Burr hardly became famous because he went to Philly
Yeah, and attacked Philly fans.
and attacked Philly fans.
That like 30-minute rant was one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my entire life. They're just like booing and like they're like telling him to get off the stage, and he's just like yelling back at them like, I don't care what you say. You're all. It was just like, dude, if you have not listened to the Bill Burr Philly rant, you should just Google it, man.
Google it, YouTube
It
it.
is funny as hell.
But it's 100% true because they literally do have a statue to a fictional character in their town, like near their capital, like in their city center.
Well, that was the super segment. Enjoy.
Thank you, Super.
Super.
Yeah, they do actually have a statue in
You better
Philly.
invite me to the next comedy routine. I want to see it on Wednesdays. All right, at the Lucky Wednesdays at the Lucky Duck. Lucky Duck.
The Lucky Dog. What did you say? Dog?
Lucky Duck. Lucky Duck. I don't know. The duck's pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Okay. Wednesdays at the Lucky Duck. What time? 8 o'clock. Thank you. And
I want to circle back to your question about accredited investors. I'm curious why you asked.
shout out to Simon for the liquor.
I don't really know. I don't really know anything about VCs, and I don't know enough to know where that.
There's probably a ton of people cheating the rules, like in every other system everywhere. What? Okay, what's the question?
Are you aware if they'll be raising those requirements significantly due to the inflating economy?
I don't know if they're going to raise those rates, but
They probably should because the inflation is
$200,000 is basically what everyone's going to make.
Exactly, that'll be minimum wage at McDonald's soon. So.
Yeah, make it easier.
Are they making it so?
To make money.
Yeah. They're trying to incorporate an educational aspect of it.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I think I don't know if any of it matters. I think like
It's relevant to us with VCs though. Right now, just because everything in the markets, all of the regular tech VCs and investors, they're pretty scared. But what's up with the Bitcoin focused and Lightning focused investors, how are they feeling right now? Like,
Yeah. So I
what's
mean, VC basically everywhere right now across like every industry is frozen. Markets are tanking everywhere across every sector.
Yeah, that's true.
Everywhere. That being said,
Like half of my tabs open right now that we're going to talk about is just like economy bad.
yeah. So, but economy, but like the good news is economy not getting any better anytime soon. So I think yeah, that's the good news. So I think the good news is that it's not about to get any better, which means that like in the short term, money is frozen. In the like medium into longer term, these funds are sitting on like 20 to like 150 million dollars of funds under management that investors want put places. They didn't like give them